So I'm recording this class. Technical glitches. Our classes are so big in terms of documentation that it doesn't fit on YouTube. So having these problems. So we're definitely going to be stopping around a midway point. So probably right around the 7 o'clock hour, we'll take a 10 to 15 minute break. Is that a kitty, Haley? Kitty's welcome. We don't judge. Oh my gosh, so cute. The little speckled nose. Love it.
He'll be coming out of the video, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure. Do you have a doggy or kitty too, Jasmine? Is that what you're going to say?
No, my friend wants to see the kitty.
Oh, you want to see the kitty?
Sorry, I'm late.
Hi,
He just ran away.
He ran away.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Try.
Anytime.
You'll see her walking behind.
Remember what I said? These are the toys that are now landing on me. And I
Can
have
you
a
show
ball.
your dog?
Yes.
All right. Show it.
Oh, here, let me throw that, and then she'll come right back with it. So we moved into this house about a year ago. This is all the sharing. This is fine, right? It's fine. Nothing inappropriate here. She's about to come back here with the toy. There she is. Oh, go get it. It's too far. I can't get it. Okay. Now she's running already. So we've got all these woods back there, and this is like her life's purpose. You just chuck whatever, and she's gonna go find it, and she comes back with a ton of birds. Now the shadows, I don't know how problematic that is. I'm just gonna be in the shadows. Back to this class, we can focus our brains. Wait a minute, Elise, you have an 11-week-old puppy? Where is Elise?
Second.
Oh my goodness!
This is Evie. We've had her for about 2 weeks now, I think. What do you think,
A
Evie?
boxer?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so cute!
Yeah, she's such a sweetheart.
That is adorable. So
She
it's a
might
girl, you
be
said?
doing it.
I have a coworker of mine who has a French bulldog, and I mean, she got her like right at the beginning of March, like almost the pre-COVID puppy craze, and she was so little. I was like, how are you fully developed and in my hands and not in your mama's tummy? So little. And now she's probably like this big. You know, French bulldogs are not that big. You need to go settle. You need to go take a break. Go take a break. And yeah, she's just so cute, so adorable. Okay, so focusing on this class here. Okay, feel like I was having a squirrel moment. There's a squirrel. Okay, let me take attendance real quick so I know who might be missing. Bridget. Oh, no Bridget. Okay. Elise. There. I think we just talked to her. Hello with the puppy. What is the puppy's name again?
Evie.
Evie?
Mm-hmm. E-V-I-E. Evie.
Evie. So cute. All right, Morgan.
Here.
Here. Haley Gooches.
Here.
Here. Samantha.
Here.
Here. Hi. Grace Joseph.
Here.
Here. I know it's always that like, where's my sound? What do I do? Tarshana. Tarshana's not here today. Here. Go settle the silly doggy. Okay. Claire. Claire is not here either. Elmar, I actually figured it out with Elmar from the Netherlands. He and I have class one-on-one early mornings, which is like late afternoon for him, so it kind of works out. Nope, I'm gonna do this right. You know I'm about to call your name, Miss Morris. Hold on, I'm gonna get it right.
Okay.
Leah.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, victory. Haley Potter.
I'm here.
Hey, Haley. Izzy.
Here.
Here, yes. Miranda. No Miranda. Daniel.
Here.
Hey, Daniel. Did we talk already? Do you want to be called Dan or Daniel's good or
It's up to you. I don't really I don't really
no
care.
big preference?
No.
Okay. Okay. Jasmine.
Here.
Okay. And Grace Sweet. Here. Grace, you look like you're on campus. You were masking it up earlier. I'm assuming. Oh, doggy. No, no, no. Anyway, you don't. Oh, we cannot hear you. Hold on. Is it just me? Can you guys hear Grace? No.
Yeah, I thought we had class on campus, but we don't. So here I am.
You did not get the message this morning.
No.
Question, did the rest of you get the message this morning? You did. Okay. I need to figure out how to make sure you get the message, Grace. So I am sending messages through Course Connect. Is that are we figuring out that's a little faulty? Should I find a different way to communicate?
I can look real quick.
I don't know if there's a setting options where you get an alert versus not.
You get an email sent to you from Course Connect, and you also get, if you have the Course Connect app, you also get a notification.
Was it an announcement on Course Connect?
I sent a message, but now I'm wondering if maybe, yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you. Okay. I'm gonna have the dog go inside. Let me know if you didn't get it. Would an announcement be better? Do you guys get more of a?
I get emails for announcements. Like I was looking in my email today and like I looked on Course Connect and I didn't see anything.
Okay. First off, let me make sure that you're actually an enrolled participant because there's a funky thing about that. Whoops.
Because I get, when you put a message or when anyone puts a message in Course Connect, I get an email letting me know that like what the message is and that it was sent through Course Connect.
Oh wait, I see it now.
Okay. So gang, is that in settings something to like click so that you have it email you instead of just sitting in your Course Connect page?
Mine just does it
Automatically?
I was pretty sure like it just automatically does it for whoever's in the class.
Okay.
What'd you say?
Oops.
No, you're good. Hey, Darshana. We're talking about Course Connect. If I send a message to the class, whether it actually sends an email to you right away or whether that's a specific setting that would do that.
I didn't get the email for the message, but I do get emails for announcements. So I think announcements would probably work better.
Announcements would be better.
I didn't know messages were a thing. Like I just saw the little icon in the corner and I was like, oh.
Okay. So from now on, unless I specify otherwise, we're just going to meet via Zoom, just for the sake of simplicity. If you hear from me, and I will make sure to give you plenty of notice, and there will also be a Zoom option if we meet in class. It'll be audio recorded and on Zoom, so you guys can watch me as if I'm here. I'll just be in the classroom. But just with the state of how things are going, I've received more requests for students to be completely virtual. So I just think safety-wise, it's just putting us in a little bit of a better situation. And since as we're seeing, for the most part, being virtual is an equivalent experience as if we were in the classroom, I think the only thing we're determining from last week is that I need to take more breaks so that we don't power through 2 hours straight for your sake and my own. And then I'll need to make sure to stop the recording right around the 1 hour mark so that we can make sure to post it on YouTube. Now, I want to talk about the syllabus for a quick minute because I am looking for suggestions from all of you because it's not letting me update here. So let me share my screen. That might be the best way. Whoops, where'd you go? Share screen. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? Yes or no? Yes, okay. So here we are. This is the correct syllabus. And I think I may just take this one page and have it as an attachment on an announcement because there's a syllabus piece. It's not letting me adjust it. So I'm sure there's a way to fix it. It's above my technical knowledge, apparently. So here we are today. We're going to talk about sources of information. The article critique is due today. However, because, again, what did I start with this semester? I'm like, semester of grace. Everybody shows grace. If you did not know it was due today, I will make it due by the end of the week, which will give you till Friday, let's say at midnight, to complete it. Honestly, gang, it is not meant to be a long assignment. It is meant to be short and sweet. If you follow the syllabus, which let's just go there now, might as well.
Wait, can I say something?
Yes, I don't know who's speaking.
Because I was Tarshana speaking.
Hey, Tarshana.
Hi. So I was trying to do the article critique and turn it in on Course Connect. Are we supposed to like email it to you, or because on Course Connect it's not letting me turn it in until it says not until a later date? I think it said the 8th.
Yeah, I had
September
the same
8th.
problem.
So I was like, okay, how am I supposed to turn it in if it's not allowing me to? It said it's a set date to turn it in and like around like 5:55, I think, and I can't turn it in until then. So it's due. Your syllabus says today. That's why I was freaking out. It says today, but on Course Connect it says you cannot turn this in until I think September 8th around 5:55 or something like that, or September 7th, something like that. But it won't let
Of
me
course
turn
it does.
it in on
I mean, I feel like this is like the nature of the world that things would be totally messed up. Okay, I'm writing a little note to talk to the powers that be. Course Connect, change dates. Okay. Okay, blanket statement 2. As an alternative, if Course Connect is proving to be a giant pain in your tush and you're trying to submit something and you can't, you can always email it to me. That's always a backup option. I will accept anything via email. That's not a problem at all. But I will work on that now. It's already 6. I'm sure the IT department is gone. What they do is they take the course shell that I had from last year and they just copy it to this year. And I bet you they just copied the dates, but that shouldn't be restrictive like that. That seems odd. Is it like that in other of your classes where they restrict the date? No, of course, I guess I'm special. Okay, change dates for article critique.
For Course Connect, IT is not actually the person you contact. It's a guy in the media department. His name's Chad Bujakowski.
I love it. Okay, I'm trying to figure out who just said
Course
that.
Connect.
Grace, is that you?
Because I work in IT and we get Course Connect questions all the time.
But see, Grace, I like to blame IT, and this is getting in the way of me effectively blaming IT. Okay, so it's Zach, yes, and I thought he was actually in IT, but he's not. He's the Course Connect.
Chad Bujakowski.
Just going to put a B next to that. I don't know how to spell that. Okay, we will get that done. But regardless, because of all of these little snafus, again, Grace, we're just working with it. This is the instructions for the article critique. Can you guys see what I'm looking at? The syllabus, this is what we discussed week 1. Somebody's chatting, so I just want to make sure. Oh, you rock. Thank you. Oh, Chad, you're right. I totally wrote Zach. Thank you, because I would have sent it to the wrong person. Okay, so these are the things that you need to address. You can certainly take these questions as your headings. That's totally fine. You can write one and then start writing, or you could just have a narrative. That's fine too. Any of those ways work. However your brain works, that is A-okay with me. But the bottom line is these are the things that you should be addressing in your article critique. And it goes down also right over here, okay? So just make sure all those points are addressed when you're writing your critique, and you should be A-okay. Questions about that?
So then when is it, sorry, when is it due?
So
Okay.
it was originally due by today, but I'm
Right.
gonna make sure that it can be due by Friday at midnight.
Friday at midnight, okay.
If for whatever reason, you've got a particular life situation where that is just not feasible, please email me, text me, let me know. I want to work alongside you to make sure you're successful, and we can be flexible about this as well. Sound good? Okay. I think someone else had a comment. I want to make sure that I see that. Oh, and the email, because, you know, Grace is awesome. Okay. Several of you have already submitted your city. Remember that we had talked about that, the certificate for human research. That is also by the end of this week. It is not very long to complete. If you look through earlier in the syllabus, I'd mentioned today's date. If you don't have it completed by today, that is fine. Please let me know. We just need to make sure that that is done prior to you collecting any data. That's really the deadline that we have. Okay, so I just want us to look ahead real quick. Was someone else speaking? Question?
Yeah, sorry. What was that you just talked about? The what deadline?
The certificate is for human participation. It's the, let me pull that up too. It was earlier on in the syllabus. I think I may have passed it. Article critique. Nope, that's higher. I'm fairly certain we talked about this last week, but maybe I was not clear. There is a link. Where are you? Right here. The Human Participant Protection Program. So it's short, it's 30 to 40 minutes. Actually, I have the deadline be till the 9th, so you can go right on ahead and wait until that point. This is just making sure that you have this done prior to us completing any research.
Okay, so it's just filling out whatever is on that link.
Well, it's watching videos and then taking short module quizzes on it. And then at the end of it, you're going to get a certificate that said that you completed the course.
Okay.
Take a screenshot or save it as a PDF and you can email it to me.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, several of you have already completed that. Awesome job. It is not, I mean, for those of you who've done it, not too hard, right? You just watch the videos, few questions, pretty straightforward.
I have a question.
Yep.
When I did it, it was like readings and then a quiz at the end. Did I complete the right one? Because I sent you a certificate.
Yeah,
You
I had the
did.
same question.
Yep, that's totally fine. I
Okay.
think, yeah, whether it's just you're reading articles or you're watching videos, there's a couple of different ones that fit this criteria. Totally fine.
Okay, I was just like, that didn't sound like what I did, so I kind of freaked out for a minute.
No, you're good to go. Good to go. If you got the certificate, you are golden. Okay. Questions about that? Okay.
No, but I have another question. It's kind of like not related though. So
That's fine.
with the class, I tried to I was looking through our emails. What did you send the Zoom link on? Because I had to email another student to send me the link to join the class. So that's why I was late. Because I didn't get one email or anything. I was just like, can somebody please add me to the class? And I'm just emailing like
announcements.
Announcements.
It's on Course Connect announcements.
Yes. So let me stop this and share again so I can share a different screen. Okay. If you go right through here, so this is our course page, announcement, and it's the Zoom class info. So yeah, I'm going back and forth. I don't know what's the best way to communicate so everyone has it.
No, that works. I just didn't know where to go. I'm like, is it in the email or?
I had the same issue. Like I had no idea where to go either, but
Right. I was
Okay.
It wasn't just you.
So sorry. So I think the very first day of class, I sent it as a message to all students, and then I added it as an announcement. We're all working through this together. Sorry. So anytime you're like, help, I don't know where to go, text me, let me know. And actually, I think somebody in this class, where's my phone? Oh, just threw it. That's a good idea. Oh, my foot's caught. Oh my gosh, all the technology problems. Somebody in this class even, I think, texted me a few minutes ago asking about how to get on the class. Or no, somebody was going to be late. Miranda. Miranda, are you in class now? Not yet. Okay. You can always text me.
Wait, is it easier to contact you through text or through email?
Either. Either is totally fine.
Okay,
Text, I'm
'cause
gonna get
I
it right away.
I've emailed you like 3 times and I didn't get like a response to any of them.
Okay, so something else I found out from another student last class is that they have a different email for me. So I'm wondering if it's not going to the right email.
Wait,
Yeah,
what
you have two.
Yeah,
what's your email?
I think it's the JMW008.
Okay, I think that's the one I'm emailing.
Grace, I'm so sorry. What questions did you have?
Well, I had a question like if the article critique was due and then if we had class in person.
So I literally just got that email 1 minute ago. So I don't know if there's a delay.
Wait, which email did you get? Because I just sent you another one right now
Oh,
about the article critique again.
I don't have anything else from you. Something from
Okay.
Haley and Samantha.
I know the internet at Aquinas. Sorry, I know the internet at Aquinas went out around 4 o'clock because my Zoom cut out because I was zooming helping a friend tutor with Spanish and it cut out. So if you sent it through, then it might have just not sent.
No, I think I sent them yesterday, like the 2 emails off of each
Okay.
other, but then I just emailed you right now about.
Okay, I did
Yeah,
just
no,
get
I
the
think-
email right now. Do we need to connect about something specific? Maybe just you and I privately later?
Sure.
Oh, would that be helpful?
Yeah.
Is it because it's more than what you just sent right now in the email?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely let me know about that. So usually if you shoot me a text, you'll get the fastest response. If you shoot an email though, I've been emailing students back because some students had questions about like topics for their research paper and we talked about that. So if somehow I missed it, I'm very sorry. If I didn't receive it, I'm sorry on behalf of
It's okay.
technology. Yeah. Okay. Other questions or housekeeping items? This is good. We're working out all the kinks. Okay, several of you have already written some ideas on the discussion forum for your topics. Anything we need to talk about along those lines? Because if I pull up the syllabus again, which of course this is not going to work, so let me just do it again. Screen share the syllabus. The items that are coming up for that, we've got the research topic is due on the 16th. So you need to make sure to have that buttoned up with your group so that we can start working through that. But your literature review and how to go about it, we'll start talking about it already next week as to what that should look like, how to write it up, and get that put together. So any questions about topics? Are you guys feeling like pretty excited about the topics that have already been thrown out in the forum? We're good? Okay. Something else to note, the qualitative research methodology and field trip. Oh boy, this is as I predicted. Hello. We will still do it, not as a class, and it'll be, I couldn't just take it out altogether. I just couldn't do it. So it's gonna look different because we're gonna be social distancing for it. And it's gonna be more on your own. So just to be determined coming up on that, but it's gonna be more of an individual project. And it's okay. Do you guys wanna meet my youngest? Do you want to say hello, Bria? Hello. Yes, you say hi to all the friends. Okay, bye-bye. So you're going to be more on your own, observing behavior from the safety of your car or a safe distance from someone else. So I'm going to have a few different options of what you can do. And we're going to have groups, not again in a group, but like 5 of you may be doing the same kind of observation, but just on your own time. And then we're going to compare notes as to what you saw and try to come up with some hypothesis if there's any variability at all. So part of the thinking behind that is I just can't teach research methods without talking about qualitative. I just feel like it's too much that you're missing out. So we're having to do a lot of adjustments because of the time that we're in, but that's okay. We're just gonna go ahead and do that. And I'm not going to presume that all of you have access to a car to go far. So they're going to be very accessible, even if you're just on campus, or if some of you are even outside the state, you'll still be able to participate in that. So we'll just divide up the class into probably 2 or 3 different conditions that you'll observe, and then we'll come together and talk about it as a class as well. So know that that October 7th date, we may not have a physical class where we're all Zooming in. That'll be the day where you'll engage in the activity and get your data put together. And then we'll talk about the results the following week. Does that make sense? Okay. And then October 28th, that's going to be, because again, you guys are going to be working in groups. You're going to be writing your own paper, but to collect data, you guys are going to be clumped together to try to get more responses, right? So if there's 4 of you in a group and you each get 15 responses, then you have 60 participants. That's just more data to use. That is a day that we're going to get the data put together. So we'll probably have like multiple Zoom calls that I'll be joining in. So you guys will talk as a group as to what data you found and how you'll analyze it on Excel, and I'll be popping into each of your group Zoom call. So that's not going to be a traditional class, so to speak. I may even stagger it. Actually, now that I think about it, I think that would make more sense. If I stagger it, like the first 30 minutes is the first group Zoom, then those students will leave the Zoom, then the next 30 minutes will be the next group, and so on and so forth. Does that make sense? Okay. So some changes coming up, as I said, like this is a fluid syllabus as we're making it through the semester and we see what is feasible and what's not. Okay, so just keeping in mind, article critique due by the end of the week, by the end of this week on Friday. And then we're gonna start talking about your literature review and what that looks like, how to format references, and all of that as we get closer for next week and the week after. Okay, before I dive into lecture, any questions from anyone? Okay, if at any point my sound sounds weird or there's like a technical issue, just unmute yourself and let me know, because the other class, I guess I started sounding like a robot. I don't know why, but it took probably 10 minutes. They're like, yeah, for the last 10 minutes, we can't understand anything you're saying. I'm like, you guys, you have to let me know, because I don't know. I sound totally normal to me. So yeah, just let me know if there's any technical issues, and then I'm happy to assist you with that as well. And as always, this is going to be interactive. So if I ask questions, it's not rhetorical. People should pipe up and tell me what you're thinking. If questions pop up, I'm going to be minimizing everybody's face. So if you're just like this, I'm not going to see you. So just unmute yourself and say, hey, lady, stop talking. Or however kindly you want to tell me about that. Okie dokie. Here it is, share. Now, last week, I think we had some challenges in getting you guys to actually view what I was seeing. It seemed like if it was full screen, it didn't work. But then last class, it worked just fine. So I'm gonna try it again, and then you guys give me feedback to see if you can see. Slideshow. Okay, can you see this screen? It says 3 claims, 4 validities. Okay. Can you see this screen? Yay! Okay.
It must work now.
It's working now. I don't know. Maybe they fixed a bug or something, and we'll just be thankful. Okay, so today what we're going to talk about are validities, how we go about research, and how do we utilize tools to start asking questions in regards to research. Okay, so there's 3 claims that we'll discuss today. We'll talk about frequency, association, and causal claims when we're doing research. And then we'll talk about the 4 aspects of validity that are most important in research, which is construct validity, external validity, statistical validity, and internal validity. If validity is a new concept to you, we will define it. It'll all make sense by the end of today. And if it does not, please do reach out and we'll talk about it some more. Okay, so this is just a brief review. There's 2 different types, well, probably even more different types than that. But for the sake of research, when we think about variables, there's few things that come to mind. So an independent variable is some sort of condition or something you are measuring that will impact a dependent variable, right? Those should be words that you've heard or maybe are somewhat familiar with. So if I'm doing an experimental research, for instance, maybe I am looking at drug doses and I'm looking at 3 specific levels to see the impact in a behavior or some sort of measured quantity. So for instance, if I'm looking at reducing blood pressure, right, then blood pressure rate would be my dependent variable, and the drug that's introduced, maybe a placebo, a low dose, and a high dose, those would be my independent variables. So we're trying to see the impact of the dose on blood pressure, okay? So independent variable, impact a measured dependent variable. A constant within a study has the potential to vary, but in our study, we are controlling it, are keeping it constant. So if, for instance, we're looking at smoking behavior, and I know that 15% of Americans smoke, nationality is not a variable that I'm measuring. It's not going to change. I'm only looking at Americans. If I was looking at the rates of smoking amongst immigrants or amongst different groups, then maybe it would change. But in this particular question, nationality would be a constant because everybody within the measured pool of participants is the same. Questions? Okay. Claire, I think your mic is up. If you have a question, happy to answer it.
Oh, no, I'm good. It was just done.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right. Just want to make sure I don't miss anybody. All right. So the idea of a constant or a control is that within that study or within that specific hypothesis, it does not change. It remains constant, as the name implies. Okay, so what is measured and what is manipulated? Those are 2 different concepts that we need to really break apart when we think about research. Something that is a measured variable is something that is observed and recorded. These tend to be dependent variables. So I can measure or record or observe someone's age, someone's gender, their income, nationality, their reaction time, right? How quickly they respond. A manipulated variable is something that we as the researcher are controlling. So in one study, there could be coffee. How quickly does a participant respond when they've been given caffeine versus not, right? What's the difference in observing visual patterns when it's in red ink versus black ink? What is the result of the length of someone's depression if they are receiving therapy versus no therapy? That is the manipulated variable is what you are changing to test out the result, right? To test out its impact. So it's important to note some variables can only be measured. You can't manipulate age. You can't be like, today be 22, tomorrow be 46. Let's see how well you differ, right? That does not work. You just measure age. It just is. You don't manipulate income, no matter how much we would like to. That's not how it works, right? We measure it or observe it. Now, some variables can either be manipulated or measured. So for instance, amount of sleep. You can measure how much someone sleeps every night and then come up with some ideas to the impact of their sleep on their performance the next day. But you could also manipulate it and say, how well can somebody respond? Let's say a response time or reaction time. So if you're thinking about like, how good are people at driving if they've had very little sleep, just throwing that as an idea, you can manipulate that. You can say, you're going to get 2 hours of sleep, you're going to get 4 hours, you're going to get 6 hours, you're going to get 8 hours, and see if the reaction time is impacted, right? So there are some that can kind of go both ways. Questions about that? Okay. The other huge piece about research methodology is when you come up with a research question that's super interesting to you, you need to ask yourself, am I looking at a concept or something that's more abstract and theoretical? And if I am, is there a way to operationalize it, measure it, quantify it, so that I can actually measure it, observe it, record it, and have some meaningful data from it? Okay, so a conceptual variable is like a construct of some ideas. It could be abstract, such as socializing, right? How well do people socialize when they come into college? So in order to do that, you need to find a way to define those variables. So to define them, you turn them into an operational variable. So socializing could be operationalized as the amount of free time that you spend with family and friends. For instance, if I talked about, would it be good for there to be racial equality in the United States? Most people would be like, yeah, that seems like a great idea. But we need to operationalize what is good, right? Because good is just a concept that's kind of vague and abstract. So maybe good would be increase in community connectedness. Maybe it would be a decrease in crime or an increase in income equality. You know, there's multiple ways that we can go about, you know, actually quantifying that. But saying that it's good is not super helpful. It's hard to put a number to that, to measure it, to actually record it. Does that make sense? Concept to an operationalized variable? Almost every concept can be operationalized in some way, and that is the beauty of what we do, because we can take very abstract things and move them into something that is measurable, and when it's measurable, it can be repeated and empirically supported, which is the name of the game, right? Because if you have this idea in your mind and you're like, oh yeah, that's great, but no one else can test it, verify it, replicate it, that, as we talked about last week, puts a hole in research a little bit. Okay. All right, so the way we describe variables, there's several different examples here. So this is a conceptual variable that was then operationalized, and then it was given different levels to measure it, okay? So let's give this one, a whiff of rosemary. If that's your conceptual variable, the whiff of rosemary, how do we operationalize that? So maybe researchers expose participants to an essential oil and then compare to a neutral fragrance. Maybe there's two different levels, the presentation of the rosemary or of the neutral fragrance, so you get one or the other. And that would be a manipulated variable because you as the researcher are deciding which of the two they receive. Make sense? On the flip side, if we look at the concept of gender, this is going to be limiting if we just look at as gender as binary, which is perhaps problematic on its own, but perhaps you operationalize it by saying that you ask people to circle one or the other, male or female. You have two levels, and this is a measured variable. We're not manipulating gender. We are simply measuring it. We observe it and record it. Okay, there are several other examples in your text, but that's kind of the crux of it. So we take large concepts, bring it down to operationalize it. How can we measure it, see it, record it? And then do we end up just measuring it, or do we manipulate it as part of our research? Okay, a few other ones here. So expressing gratitude to a romantic partner, right? So gratitude expression, that could just be that broad. So researchers can ask people in relationships the extent to which they agree with items such as, I tell my partner often that he or she is the best. You can have 7 levels, strongly disagree to strongly agree, and that is something you are in fact measuring. You're not manipulating it, you're just asking them and they're reporting it to you, so then you end up scoring it accordingly. The type of story that's told by a scientist, that could be the conceptual variable. How we operationalize it could be the researcher is assigned participants to read stories about Einstein and Curie, which related either their work struggles or their achievement. So you have 2 levels, a story about their struggle or a story about their scientists, achievements, and that is something that's manipulated. The researcher is deciding which of the 2 the participants get to hear, and then they're measuring their response in some other fashion, right? There's some sort of outcome questionnaire they're taking or something like that. Again, that is something that is manipulated. Okay, questions about that? that all kind of coming together? Pretty straightforward? Okay. I'm going to take a silence as go forward. All right, so school achievement. This is something we've talked about, I think we talked about last week. Like, how do we measure school success, right? Like, what does that look like? So the conceptual variable is the school achievement. And the way we operationalize it, or perhaps measure it, is a self-report questionnaire, right? What kind of grades do you get? You check records, so you're looking at their actual GPA or maybe their report cards, and then teacher observation, some sort of qualitative observation from the teacher's point of view as to how a student is performing. So that would be how we would operationalize that more abstract concept of what is school achievement. Frequency of texting while driving. That's another good one, right? That no one ever engages in, right? No one does that. So one could be a self-report questionnaire. How often do you text and drive? One would be a direct observation. And lastly, you could have a friend's observation. Now, do you guys think we need 3 levels of this? Is there one that's more worthwhile than the other? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that probably the self-report questionnaire isn't going to be your most accurate one, because who's going to willingly admit to, yeah, I almost always text while driving, you know?
Right. I mean, especially nowadays, like maybe 10 years ago when I feel like people were like, oh, it's fine, it's no big deal. Read a whole novel with your little Nokia brick where you're pressing all the numbers, to, right? But yeah, there's a social context and social implication. People are more likely to suppress their response because they know this is not an acceptable behavior to engage in. So if I was only asking a self-report, there might be a problem with that, right? Now, what do we think about friends' observation? Is that worthwhile?
Unreliable.
Unreliable. Okay, say why, Izzy.
Your friends will vouch for you.
That's right.
Some will be honest, but others will be like, no, they never do that.
Yeah. And there's a huge piece to that, right? If friends are in the car with you and they see you driving and texting, there may be some internal dissonance, like some cognitive dissonance that they're experiencing because they know that shouldn't be happening. And maybe they said nothing, right? And if they're driving in the car with you, they have to feel safe. So maybe they're just going to ignore that behavior. So there's a problem with that too, for sure. Yeah. What about direct observation? Do we have any problems with that?
I don't think you're gonna be able to see like every person that's possibly texting on the phone while you're driving, because sometimes they could be driving fast, or who, like, you staring at somebody that's inside the car. That's like, why are they staring at me? That's creepy. You're just looking at a random person that's looking at you. Just like, what's going on? Why is he taking down notes? And then being like, okay, let me put my phone down so maybe he can't see it. So it's
Right.
like, you might catch it, you might not. So
Totally. And perhaps you're holding your phone because you're looking at directions, or something beeped and it got your attention and you're not texting. But if the phone's in your hand, is there going to be measurement error because it looks as if maybe you're texting, right? So even the direct observation might be problematic, right? So I think we just, I was talking to a friend who lives in Montreal, and apparently even like having your phone give an alert and you looking at your phone because of the alert, you could get a ticket for that. Which I'm like, I mean, I kind of got into it with him. Like, wait, how could they possibly know, right? And they're like, well, if you're driving and they see you looking down at your phone, I'm like, but if I'm driving, how much are they tracking the direction of my gaze? Like, seems questionable, but they're very much like, no phones. Don't look at it. Don't touch it. Don't text. Everything has to be hands-free, which I'm not saying I'm against that. There's certainly plenty of really distracted people who would benefit from that, but yeah, it's just like, it's next level. Okay, so let's talk about claims. A claim is an argument that you're trying to win, right? You're trying to state by your statement that what you have is actually true or correct. So there's frequency claims, association claims, causal claim, and not all of them are based on experimentation. So that is important to note. So some types. So a frequency claim would be something like 4 in 10 teens admit to texting while driving. Or 42% of Europeans never exercise. Or middle school kids see 2 to 4 alcohol ads a day. So you're putting out a frequency, an observational data point or descriptive statistics about a specific variable and making a claim about it based on the result of that observation or that measurement. So that is a straight frequency, or again, if you think about descriptive statistics, if you're looking at like basic demographic data that's gathered, that's a frequency claim. An association claim is reporting a relationship between two variables. For instance, single people eat fewer vegetables. The implication is then people who are not single. Or angry Twitter communities, I almost said communists. Ooh. Angry Twitter communities linked to heart deaths. Or girls are more likely to be compulsive texters. Or suffering a concussion could triple the risk of suicide. So it's taking two ideas, two variables, or two concepts and claiming there is a relationship with them. How often, by the way, do we see that in the news or just social media? Either of those, frequency claims or association claims.
Association claims a lot in the news, just like people being seen together. They're like, they're together, and just assuming dumb stuff.
Absolutely. Or they'll say something like, those who eat chocolate more likely to live long lives. I'm like, I can get on board with whatever that study is. Bring on the chocolate, right? But it's usually, those claims are made, especially in the news media, social media, and it's based on a research study, right? But they just take a little snippet and then make a claim from it. Our job as smart people who are going to look at research critically is to dig deep to that primary source and see what it was actually that they measured and whether that's actually the result or what we should walk away with in terms of their study. Causal claims, those we see all the time too, right? So music lessons enhance IQ. So one variable directly impacts the other one as a direct linear relationship. A led to B, right? Babysitting may prime brain for parenting. Family meals curb eating disorders. Why sleep deprivation makes you crabby. I mean, these are all headlines that we could have seen anywhere in the news or on social media. And the idea of a causal claim is it is stating that that variable alone is responsible for the impact of the other. So having family meals, right, sitting down and eating together as a family means you're less likely to develop an eating disorder. Any problem with a claim like that?
I feel like it's kind of not, it's like saying that like every single family meal will curb, like it's, I don't know, like saying too much for everyone. Like it's not true for everybody.
Right.
Know?
That's very much making a strong generalization as to the impact of sitting down and eating a meal as a family. Yeah.
Just to go off that, it's just like a huge generalization of what kind of family it is, because they assume if you sit down as a family, you're less likely to develop an eating disorder, but you don't know like what that family life is like. Maybe it's a good family where everyone's just laughing and having fun and everyone's like just fully embraced as themselves. Otherwise, they might be a family that's very like hard on their kids and very strict and compares each other. So the one kid feels like they need to eat less and the other needs to eat more and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's also completely taking out of the equation, you know, family history, mental health issues, family stressors, I would say socioeconomic status. Like there's just so many variables that would feed into this particular issue that are completely taken out of the equation. They're saying this is it. This is the thing that leads to that, right? So whenever you see a causal claim, have some red flags go up, right? Because in the social sciences especially, we don't work in linear relationship. It's multiple variables that have an impact. It's far more the association claims than a causal claim. So just something to be mindful of. Okay, so frequency claims, which we just talked about, they describe a particular rate or degree of a single variable. So for instance, it's just really describing either a population or a variable itself. So if we talked about the Americans who smoke, but 65% of participants obeyed in Milgram's experiment. Just sidebar, do you guys all know about Milgram's experiment?
No, I don't.
Okay, so Stanley Milgram, this is a seminal study. And in fact, I'll probably, at our break, which is, okay, in 5 minutes, I'm gonna find the video so you guys can watch it. We can watch it together as a class. It's a very short, it's been repeated multiple times. But the main question the researchers were trying to ask, this was originally done right after World War II, was what are the factors that would allow somebody to obey kind of blindly what someone else is telling them to inflict harm onto another human being. So putting it in the context of the time, right, after World War II, everything that had happened with the Nazis and Jews back in Europe, especially concentration camps, it was like, how was it that humans who seem to have a very normal life, like that seemed to be just like us, listen to authority figures to do these atrocious, really horrible things? Like, how did that happen? And in fact, could it happen again, or was it something specific about those people at that time? And what you can see from this is in Milgram's experiment, 65% of folks obeyed the experimenter. And so we'll just see in a minute. So again, other frequency, 1 in 20 people who contract a pneumonia will die, or 5.6% of undergrad applicants are accepted at Harvard. These are just facts. They're just frequencies based on the data. So there's no manipulation. There's no statistics that are happening. It's just, this is the data and here's the numbers that fall from it. Or 6.7% of US adults suffer from depression. Those are frequency claims. So when you're coming up with your study for this particular project, you'll look at your data and all of you should have some demographic variables included as part of it. You want to know about gender, probably the year that they're in at Aquinas, or well, actually yours will be broader. So maybe you'll want to ask about age, right? If you're collecting data from friends and family. Maybe you'll want to talk about where they live. Do they live in Michigan or elsewhere? Maybe you want to know about religious affiliation. So all of those categories, all this information you're gathering about your participants, you can then make frequency claims about them. So in my sample, 27% of participants were female, right? That's a claim you can make because here it is. This is just what the data is telling me. I'm not manipulating anything. This is just it, right? That's the frequency. Does that make sense? Okay. This seems like a good time. So why don't we take a, let's see, what time is it right now? 6:57. Let's all join back at 7:10. Go stretch your legs and then we'll all come back and I'll make sure that this is saved and we'll continue, yeah, in about 12 minutes. Sound good? Okay, see you all in 12 minutes.